Hello everyone, my name is Joshua and this is the 171st video on my video journal series. Today's date is Wednesday the 29th of July 2026. How's everyone been? I've been pretty good, thank you. And today, something big happened. For the first time in my life, 20 years on this planet, I managed to do a tie all by myself. Yes, it's taken me 20 years of human existence to actually do a tie by myself. Now, I did go to high school where we had to wear ties, and whenever I had to wear a tie, I always got my dad or someone at the school to do it for me. But obviously, it's been a while since I left high school, and you know, this is pretty much the only tie that I wear when going out in public because previously, well, I should say, you know, up until this morning, this tie was, kind of like this. I didn't have like a before picture. It looked a little bit different when it was tied up. And the only reason I used this tie was because, well, it was the only one that was tied up in my closet. Uh, Maybe up until today, it was tied up for, I don't know, like years. So I decided, hey, today, why not just, teach myself how to do up a tie? So I went on to YouTube. I searched up how to do a tie tutorial, how to tie up a tie, I should say. And yeah, I followed the tutorial and I managed to get this. So what you're witnessing here is history, practically. It's the first tie I've done up myself. And as you can see, it's not perfect. It's quite big and all that, but with practice comes perfect, comes progress, comes improvement. And yeah, it's fully functional. I can wear this around my neck. I can tie it up. I know this may seem like very minor news to many, but it's like doing up your shoelaces for the first time. I remember the first time I did up my shoelaces all by myself. I was actually in primary school, and obviously, just like doing up my shoelaces, I've witnessed other people do up ties for me and trying to instruct me how to do it, but I never got it as a kid because as a kid, and even now, I'm a very slow learner. But I remember in primary school, my brother trying to teach me and all that. I never really got the gist of it because I was like, hey, how do you go from step 3 to 4? It's just I never really paid much attention. And then I remember being like a gym hall and seeing the person next to me tie up their shoes one day during like PE. I was like, wait a minute, I maybe I'll try it myself. Maybe I'll try it over here. And then I tried it on my own shoe, and I was like, holy crap, that's the first time I've ever done it. I just witnessed like another kid do it. I was like, hey, that doesn't look too hard. Now I viewed it from like that angle. So yeah, thank you, random kid. Oh, well, not random. It was quite a close primary school, but I would have forgotten their name. That's just a very distinct memory of mine. And now, me doing up my first ever tie successfully is a distinct memory. It's another skill acquired. Now, mind you, I have to watch a tutorial to do it. I don't know how to do it off by heart, but it is progress. Um, and it's just yeah. I thank gosh I know how to do up a tie now. Um, and I bet there's like some skills within my life, and I'm fairly certain with most of you watching this, where everyone else can do it, or a lot of people can do it, but you're never taught how to. Even if it's doing up a tie, you rarely do up a tie. It's something that you do up maybe like once a year. So I don't blame myself for not knowing how to do it, even at 20 years old. Um, but yeah, I actually have a friend who's in university. He's my age, and the embarrassing thing is, I'm not going to reveal their name, but they still don't know how to do up their shoelaces. I know it is a damning revelation, but I'm friends with this person, and yeah, they're my age. They've never done up their shoelaces. When they were in primary school, they used to wear like Velcro, which is pretty good. But like, I always used to rock Velcros in like early primary school. But then I learned how to do up my shoelaces. Yeah, they still don't know how to do up their shoelaces. And sometimes whenever I go up this person, I see their shoelaces aren't tied, and I feel like calling them out on it because I'm pretty sure I'm the only person who knows about this. Like, I don't think any of my other friends know that this person cannot do their shoelaces. I'm not bullying anyone, but like, yeah, it's just And this person goes to it's a close friend of mine, so I can kind of joke with them, but like at the same time, they go to university and they got like a pretty high ATAR, I remember, and it's sort of like a in joke between us, but I obviously respect the fact that he doesn't want anyone else to know they don't know how to do up their shoelaces. Obviously, I've just revealed it on camera, but I don't think even then, doing up shoelaces, I think there are some people, and I was one of them included, up to late primary school, who weren't really like told in a way that we sort of understood. Same with doing up a tie. I'll just use the tie analogy because it happened with me today. It's just like when you witness someone do it too quickly. I think it's actually a very good um, example of how sort of teaching works because you really need to have someone like physically right next to you do it. If you just like watch a YouTube video, which I did, and it still managed to work for me, but like if you watch a YouTube video, you can't like I guess sort of ask questions. You can rewind, pause, but there is still like a gap. You can do step 1, 2, 3 correct, but then step 4, you're like, all right, how do I do this? So I guess it just shows how people sort of learn at different speeds and in different ways. And in fact, I don't blame you if you don't know even how to do up your shoelaces if no one really, I guess, taught you, how to do up a tie, how to shave. No one taught me how to shave, actually. I remember having to shave for like high school, because I grew like a small mustache. And I was like, all right, do I do like what's shaving cream? No one told me what shaving cream was or whatever. I just had to sort of learn myself. And obviously my brother tried to help me learn how to do up my shoelaces, but I didn't really know how to do it. Even after he said the bunny ear method, like the bunny going around the tree. I was like, I was just as a kid, I was like, what's this bunny you're talking about? Like, oh yeah, the loop. Why don't you call it a loop? Why do you have to use the bunny going around the tree? Anyway, I just took things literally. Um, and with a tie, I mean, I remember years ago trying to do up a tie. I watched like a video on YouTube, but yet that video I just left with more questions than answers. And obviously now I'm a lot more smarter in some areas, and I guess more astute. But it just took me up until today, and I was like, what? Let me disassemble this perfectly good tie, and I will do it myself. And yeah, I'm surprised with the results. Yet again, there is a bit like sticking up there, but like I don't mind. It's a tie. It's a tie that's done up, and I'm proud of myself for actually doing it. Um, and yet again, though, there are like plenty of other things in life which seem commonplace, like everyone should know how to do, but no one's really taught you how to do it. One thing is like obviously the census. Now, I actually received a letter in the mail regarding the census. For those who don't know, there is a nationwide census happening here in Australia in August, but I'm pretty sure I have to like start it now. And I received a letter in the mail saying, all right, the census is coming. You need to log on to this website, put this pin in. And I've never done a census before. This is going to be my first census. And you think it's like easy and all that, but obviously, the letter goes through what you have to do. But no one's like, they don't really tell you in school how to like fill out a census form. It seems commonplace, but like they don't really mention the census unless you're doing like, analyzing the census itself in like, I don't know, maths, sometimes in religion, if you're looking at, the percentage of people who are Catholic or whatever in Australia. Yeah, and same thing with tax as well. They don't really tell you how to do your taxes in school, which I think is supposed to be like, a family thing. Your family's supposed to tell you how to do tax because it's really complex. But yeah, no one's really taught me how to fill out tax. You just have to do like a Google search, and I guess like when you grow older with age, you have like investment properties and all that, so you got to claim deductions and negative gearing and whatnot. But yet again, no one. You don't really go to like a tax school. You don't really have someone to run you through everything you need to know about tax. Which I guess tax is very complicated, but it's one of those things where you just have to pick it up as you go. Pick up small bits of information as you go. So yeah, and there are some like other, I guess, skills where, or I guess things that to you may seem commonplace, but to me, I haven't done it before. Um, what could be another one? Maybe doing up a bow tie. I don't know how to do up a bow tie, but that is pretty complex. I guess even like simple things like you know, something will come to my mind as I will continue this video, then I'll just stop what I'm saying and then I'll elaborate. But yeah, I guess, obviously there's nothing, inherently wrong about wearing just Velcro shoes or wearing pre-done ties. But at the same time, I feel like these are the sort of things that they should teach you in school, especially if you go to like a school where they require you to have a uniform. They should just do one lesson where they teach students how to do up a tie. In fact, I remember one time at my high school, which had the tie requirement, by the way, you had to wear a tie. I remember one day my tie was undone, and obviously everyone in my family forgot how to do a tie all of a sudden, and I had to go to school because obviously my like I know I said my dad did it, but then everyone else pretty much forgot, and sometimes certain people in your family aren't available in the moment, so yeah, I had to go to school with an undone tie, and it was like a award ceremony thing where you obviously had to look your best. And I remember just sitting in the crowd. And I remember my mum telling me beforehand, just tell someone like a student or teacher to do up your tie. But I thought I was going to get a detention because, like a uniform violation. Why'd you come to school with a undone tie? So I was a little bit fearful, but luckily the kid sitting next to me offered to do up my tie, and he did it, and I was like, oh my god, thank you so much, right before I went on stage. And I owe pretty much a lot to that kid for not getting me a detention, not making me look bad in front of like a lot of people. But yeah, that's pretty much how I rock and rolled in high school. But yet again, though, I guess I am, grateful that sites like YouTube exist and the internet where you can, watch a tutorial of someone doing up a tie. You can like slow down, rewind the video. But yet again, though, I think a human instructor is obviously the preferred method of things. And there's different ways to do up a tie as well. I did like something called like a double Windsor knot or something like that. Double Windsor. Obviously, that was what the guide, instructed me to do. There's different ways of doing up a tie. You can do it like really thin, like this, or you can do it like really thick. I prefer this sort of thick method, though there is like yet again a bit peeping at the top. So I might actually try to redo this tie maybe next time I have to wear it. Maybe I'll do it like tomorrow. Try again and keep on practicing as well. But yet again, I think this is another key step in my life, and yeah, I'm just really have to catch up on some basic skills. Like for example, a tire change. Right, I don't drive a car anymore. But no one really taught me how to change a tire. But yet again, that's like a very important skill. You have to change a tire, especially if you're out on the road and then, oh man, one of the tires is bust. Um, all right, so where's the lever? How do I, uncap the screws or whatever? Like, yeah, no one's really taught me how to undo a tire. But you think, when you take a driving exam, they'll teach you, or at least say, hey, do you know how to change a tire? Um, I think it's a very important skill to have. And before I get back behind the wheel, if I ever do, I will teach myself how to change a tire because, yet again, that seems like a very important thing to know. But, I remember taking my ELS exam and they didn't mention anything about changing tires. So, yeah, yet again, though, plenty of like stuff where it seems basic, seems like commonplace knowledge, but yet again, though, people like myself, we might not know how to do it because, we were never, I guess, properly instructed. And I feel like today it's been getting slowly worse. I guess back in the day before the internet, you had to learn these skills, because you not everyone had access to, I guess, someone who can do up their tie immediately. But nowadays with the internet and all that, I think with some people, including myself, have gone a little bit slack. Um, with I guess adopting these skills, but not really. I guess it's more like we really haven't had people telling us how to do up a tie, and I guess less people nowadays wear ties unless you're like involved in business or whatever. But yet again, though, I feel like it should be you know taught, like even in maybe it's just my high school that never taught it, but like I feel like it should just be an important thing in your life where you're just taught at an early age how to do it. Same with tying up your shoelaces. Um, but I guess it doesn't matter how many times you're taught something. People sort of learn at different paces, and I wish someone taught me how to do up my shoelaces earlier, or even a tie in a way that I understood personally. So yeah, even though I just said, one of my friends doesn't know how to do up their shoelaces, it could just be that they were never taught a method that suited them, like, or a way in which they understood. And I feel like, the longer that goes unnoticed, the more sort of trouble it's going to cause. Because, you have to build up that habit. I've been tying up my shoelaces for like, what, 8 years at the very minimum, which, come to think about it, isn't like a whole lot of time. It's a relatively newish thing in my life, come to think about it, because, I feel like, as soon as you start wearing shoes, your parents should instruct you how to tie your shoelaces. I can't live on Velcro and Crocs forever, but yeah, you have to grow into that habit. It takes a while to develop a habit of tying up your shoelaces quickly and on the spot. You're not always going to have access to the internet to watch a video on how to tie your shoelaces. Same with a tie, So I got to build up this habit. Maybe I'll try and do up a tie every single day until I can like do it off by heart. But yet again, though, you only need to do up a tie maybe like once a year. Very rare. Once you do up a tie, most people I know just like leave it like this. They don't like undo it. Because yet again, though, it's a hassle. And it's like you gotta like wrap one thing around the other, then over the. I just sometimes I just hate the terminology they use, like, oh yeah, the rabbit going around the tree trunk and then hopping inside. For some people it may work, but I'm just like, all right, just tell me from left to right. I don't want to use all this fancy language. Just tell me in plain directions how to do it. All right, I know. For children, it may help them understand. Oh, I imagine this mini rabbit going around the tree trunk and then hopping inside. No, that doesn't work for me anymore. I just need directions. All right. Oh, excuse me. I nearly burped on camera. My. But yeah, to conclude this video, you just heard me talk about me doing up my tie for the first time in my life. But yeah, I recommend, to, I guess, learn or, brush up on some skills in life that you might be a little bit unsure of. Yet again, if you don't know how to do up a tie, I would actually say, if you got time, obviously, to undo your current tie up, obviously, like, to undo it, and to, hop onto like a YouTube or some online tutorial and to teach yourself now to get in that sort of habit. But yet again, though, everyone learns differently, and I think using my analogy of the tie right here, it shows that people like me, we learn at different paces, and sometimes it isn't until that moment in life where everything starts to like click in, and you're like, oh, now I finally get it. And I guess if you're like a parent watching this, sooner you teach your child to do something, the quicker they're going to adopt it in their life, and it's going to help them tremendously. Yet again, there have been like times in my life, like the graduation ceremony, where not graduation ceremony, it was an awards ceremony, but you could be at graduation, you could be at a very important time in your life, but no one really taught you how to do up a tie, or you have a tie that's loose, and then all your friends, they don't know how to do up ties. It just I feel like it's slowly become a forgotten sort of skill. But this is from my own positionality. Everyone's positionality views are different. You know, you may be watching this and you're like, oh, I was taught how to do up a tie at like age 7, but tying my shoes age 10. So yeah, I guess that's within the position of my own life, and I bet many of my friends are the same. And yet again, I don't really shame myself or really my friends for not really knowing these skills. Rather, you know, how do we expect to know something if we haven't really been taught in like an effective way, or really sort of taught in a way that we understood what, like, how to do it. um, and obviously, teaching is not a one size fits all method, and I'm going to relate this back to teaching because yet again it's another point I'm passionate about, where there's some things I don't really like, I misunderstood in school. I didn't really get like what it meant, and you don't really know how to ask a question. Like same thing with the when you're doing up a tie, you're like, all right, well, how do you go from step 3 to 4? Oh, you just do it like this, but like you're having troubles trying to formulate that question, or even to notice what's wrong, but you can't do it. Same thing when you're taught something in school, like maybe let's say a particular way of solving a math equation, like a method or a formula. That's what they call them, formulas. And you're like, all right, I don't understand this, but you don't really know how to express that question. So yet again, this all relates back to doing up a tie at the end of the day. But yeah, it's just I guess not only me just figuring out how to do something that might seem commonplace to many for the first time, but really just my life with I guess trying to learn basic skills. And yet again, no, we all go at our own pace. I bet if you stop someone in the street and ask them to do up their tie on the spot without any help or tutorial, you might get like mixed results. And yet again, though, there are like some things in life which I'll never be able to understand or do without the help of others. So yeah, I know this video might seem very compact, but it's something that's just, I guess, been on my mind today. But I can most probably close this book about ties. I'm just gonna chuck that over there so I don't talk about it anymore. Anything else today to wrap it up? No, not really. I've been just doing obviously uni work, and there's a lot to do in week 1 alone. But yet again, I just got to build up momentum. That's the key word, momentum, and yeah, just see how things work out. I'm not going to be worried about my second and third assignments. I'm going to be worried about my first round of assignments. And yet again, though, it seems like this is going to be that point of the year where things start to like speed up considerably. So yeah, I have to be in full, have to be engaged. I have to always be on my toes. I know I used that pitchfork, that crude pitchfork analogy yesterday, or it was yesterday, after a very long day at uni. But it does seem true, at least in my eyes, for all my frustrations, it does sometimes seem you got like a pitchfork up your ear when you're trying to like catch up with your work. But the point is, to try to do as much as possible, but don't burn yourself out. And at the end of the day, something's always going to be better than nothing. You got this. You can easily conquer this piece of work. And hard work is open to all. It took me, I'm going to bring up the tie again, last time. It took me, sort of hard work today or throughout my life to sort of understand how to do up a tie, or to, I guess, I really wanted to use the analogy of the tie again, all right? I'm sorry. For me, it was hard work doing up that tie, all right? And that's an achievement of my hard work, that tie. I'm looking over there. I'm not going to bring it towards me because I want to leave it out of frame. I don't want to speak about it anymore. But I know that's a symbol, a trophy of my hard work, and a crown to 20 years or something I couldn't do. That tie. So yeah, and I guess learning new skills is available to all. You can all, I guess, all embark on a new adventure. You can all embark to learn new things in life, and no matter how simple it may be, no matter how far you feel like, oh man, I'm 30 and only now I'm realizing how to do this, you, I guess, at least learn it. You at least know it now, and it's a valuable thing to have, and hard work is a valuable thing to cherish. even if it may take you 20 years. But anyway, I feel like I've gone on for too long. And this is going to be very bad in hindsight when I look back on this video. I'm like, what the hell did I go on about? But anyway, I'm going to end this video here, and I'll catch you all tomorrow. Have a great one.